Throughout my time incarcerated, the holidays marked a very dreadful and dreary time in prison, obviously for obvious reasons. The holiday season were hard, extremely hard for me personally, extremely hard for my family. Even though it was a dark and dreary time, they still brought that light into the darkness. Greetings and salutations. I'm Victor DeSordi, and welcome to my channel at 28 to Persevere. At the end of this video, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this video among the many others I have made available on my channel. With Halloween a couple days away and Samhain, the great pagan festival time to celebrate our ancestors, to celebrate the great cycle of life and death, this is the most momentous holiday for me. It's something that I've always embraced ever since I was a child, and especially when I became in touch with the way my Odinist faith and the way that I move and live every day of my life. This particular holiday is a phenomenal time of festivities. It's a time to embrace family, and this begins the cycle, especially the traditions in Western culture, with all the holidays we celebrate one right after another. Most of them are very familial, dealing with family and the celebration of life, which is wonderful, which is obviously embracing the cultures that we live in and we celebrate every day, universally and collectively. Personally, throughout my time incarcerated, the holidays marked a very dreadful and dreary time in prison, obviously for obvious reasons. The prison system in general, each day is a redundant cycle of repetitive motion. It's the same exact thing every single day. From the mentality to the routines, or you get accustomed to these routines. It's basically a survival mechanism. And when the holidays come around, they get skewered a little bit because now you're dealing with a lot of personal and emotional things that you have brought with you from the streets, mainly your connection and love for your family. Now you're isolated and in an environment that's very depressing, very violent. There's not any type of connectivity to the outside world as far as what's familiar to you and what was familiar to you at one time, especially that connection you have with your loved ones. And the holidays always reminded you of that connection that you shared and you celebrated this most festive time of the year. And throughout the holiday seasons and these holy days that we celebrated prior to coming to prison, when you're in prison, this all gets completely convoluted with the world you're living in now. And it literally gets turned upside down. Everything you believed in, everything you loved about that holiday now, it's become a very dreary reminder, a very dark and depressing time of the life you're now currently living. And obviously the environment doesn't give you any type of leeway or any type of opportunity to actually embrace that time and remind you of the good times that you had. Everything is a reminder of what you've lost, and regretfully so. The suicide rate in the prison system is sky high during the holidays, as it is in the real world. I say the real world, but the world beyond the wall that you're striving to go to. Even at that time of the year, the suicide rate is sky high. And in prison, you're trying to make ends meet, trying to make sense of things, and trying to still hold on to the values and principles and the familial virtues that you abided by prior to coming to prison. And you're reminded to every day of your life, especially during the holiday season, how important it is that you have to try to hold on to that. But it was very time at that very time of your life in prison. It's very depressing. The holiday season were hard, extremely hard for me personally, extremely hard for my family because I do have a very close knit family, and the holidays was a reminder of what we were regretfully missing, mainly me, being in the position that I was in, and I wasn't, able to be with my family, my loved ones, and everyone suffered unmercifully as a result of that. Every holiday we were reminded of so much time that was gone. I mean, the time is invaluable. Obviously, it's the one thing in life that you can never have enough of, and it's the one thing you wish you had more of. When you have it, you tend to abuse the time you have, and you don't really appreciate where you stand and sit until you're no longer in the position to appreciate it any longer. And now you wish you had more of it. But it's very understandable to anyone who's done time that they know what I'm talking about. The families that have suffered alongside them. It's a very rough time. It's very dreary. And how I combated that type of stress on a personal level. I tried to focus my energy that was directed outside the wall, obviously on my wife and children and my immediate and outer circle of family members, because for me, it was like an opportunity to remind them that even though it was a dark and dreary time, they still brought a little light and a lot of love into my sphere of existence. And even though my sphere of existence was very minimized as far as what I was capable of doing and appreciating and enjoying, they still brought that light into the darkness, and that it was like a beacon of hope for me to remember that every day. It beckoned me forward into whatever chaos I had to confront. It was a reminder for me, and I dealt with that accordingly. I focused on my kids, especially during Christmas. I made sure that, as my wife did also, we were very focused on making sure that they celebrated that holiday, and we tried every opportunity we could to celebrate it together as a family. Obviously, throughout my incarceration, about 14, 50 years, I celebrated a lot of times on the family reunion program that we had a chance to have these trailers that we would celebrate Christmas together. We did this a handful of times, and it was a wonderful experience, obviously, and something we highly appreciated. And we would tune out the world beyond those trailer walls, the family reunion program. We weren't thinking about the fact that I was in prison. We were just celebrating the fact that we were all together to have this opportunity to celebrate this holiday as a family. And it's very important for anyone who's doing time to really keep that in mind that you're still part of a family, you're still part of a nucleus outside those walls. And even though you're isolated and you're confronted with that isolation every day and the dark and dreary environment reminds you of it, just hold on to that. Hold on to that familial values. Hold on to the principles that you abided by prior to coming to prison. And for those that never had that type of connection with their families, I understand that also. You hold on to the things that you find important every day to make sense of the senseless nature, perhaps, of the world around you, and you find that purpose, and you hold tight to those virtues, and you think to yourself, okay, how can I better become a better person, or how can I confront the unknown every day, and with a smile on my face, or just the vigors and the sense of fortitude that I need to persevere through the hardships and the struggles of everyday life, especially during the holiday seasons. It was a time that most of the men, just myself included at times, you just dread it, man. You just were like, and it's almost the holidays, the holiday seasons, and it was really hard. It was hard. Like I couldn't listen to a Christmas song for 20 something years. It was just so depressing. It just brought me back to the time that I celebrated, and I tried to put on a good face, and I made sure that my children never seen me in any type of dire straits because I wouldn't have. I just to me it was a selfish. It would have just been a selfish move on my part to do that and let them see that side of me. It wasn't good. It wasn't right. And my wife is a stalwart. I mean, she always kept a smile on her face, and we kept the kids focused on the celebration of the family and the joys of being together, especially during these times. So obviously, staying sane in an insane world is paramount for anybody in all walks of life, especially for those brothers and sisters who are behind bars and feeling so isolated, trapped, and totally discontent with the world around them, perhaps bitter and enraged at what they see every day and how they're forced to live. Some feel subhuman or even something even less than being subhuman, as part of something that is looked down upon as a drag society. Just keep the faith in knowing what you are and who you are, and you're striving forward, especially during the holiday seasons. For all the families that support the loved ones that are incarcerated, shout out to them. Keep the faith, keep strong, keep persevering, and just understand that better times are ahead, and it's up to you to reach those heights, and join together in that understanding, strength. So until next time, go with the gods, persevere.